After delivering dozens of voice agents, these 2 custom tools alone have made us tens of thousands of dollars. In this video, I'll break down these 2 tools so you can start building advanced voice agents in Retell AI. If you're new to the channel, my name is Lenny Cowens, and alongside my partner Terrell, we've been building and selling voice AI solutions through our AI agency 601B for the past 12 months. Let's start by explaining exactly what a custom tool is. So what are custom tools? Custom tools are integrations for voice assistants that allow them to take actions on and post call, whether that be integrating with the CRM and being able to extract lead information or booking an appointment via cal.com. When it comes to Retell AI, they actually do have a couple tools that come in the box. So one of them is the Press IVR tool. So what this does is allows your voice assistant to actively press numbers, i.e. a dial tone, to get to the appropriate person when making outbound calls. The next tool is the transfer call tool. All right. This just simply transfers calls live on call. End of call tool is the third tool. Book appointment through cal.com is another tool that's integrated with Retell. It's pretty cool because all you need is a couple components to actually get this up and going. No need for Make at all or any automation tools. And then lastly, the check calendar availability tool. Now, these 2 tools definitely go together. One checking the availability and the other one actually booking the appointment. But in this video, the 2 tools that we're going to be reviewing are the custom tool, which is a custom appointment booking using cal.com, as well as the end of call tool. All right, these 2 tools together are very, very powerful. And the reason why we're going to go over a custom cal.com appointment booking tool is because it's an optimized conversational flow tool so that they don't need to check for availability and do 2 separate functions. It's all just bundled in one. So we'll review this optimized tool in Retell right now. You can access this cal.com appointment booking custom tool template in our free Skool community by clicking the link in the description. And if you are a voice AI agency owner and you're serious about making money building and selling voice agents, Voice AI Accelerator might be for you. It's a free community for agency owners to share their journeys on acquiring customers and building great voice AI solutions. So if this is interesting to you and you're interested, go ahead and click the link in the description. So let's break down how to integrate these custom tools and built-in tools into your voice agent. The voice agent you see here is one that I pre-created. Now, this use case is eliminating voicemail. It's for an inbound electrician voice assistant. So it takes inbound calls. From there, it extracts the call reason, sends that call reason to the business for follow-up, and then alerts the caller that the business will follow up shortly with an estimated time of arrival to resolve their issue. So when it comes to functions in general, before we get into the specific functions of the custom booking appointment and end of call, let's just review what we are able to do as far as integrating these functions, also known as custom tools or tools in Retell. So as you press add here, there's a few options. One is the end of call. This is one of the built-in ones. So the name is printed there for you. In the description, you would put something along the lines of this function ends the call. And I'll just show you this here. All right. This function ends the call. For call transfer, it's pretty straightforward. It populates the name for you. You input the description of when you want this call to be transferred, input the transfer number, and then choose what type and display phone number. So cold call, or I should say cold transfer, is just transferring immediately without any information on who the person is on the line who's being transferred. Warm transfer is some information passed along with the transferred call to the individual who's receiving that number. And then display phone number is just based off if you want the agent's phone number to be displayed when transferring the call or the person who's being transferred's number who called in. Okay. We don't need this function, so we're just going to cancel and review a couple of the other ones. Check calendar availability. So this is really cool. It just automatically populates things for you. So when users ask for availability, check the calendar and provide available slots. This is a description. It provides the name as well. And all you need to actually integrate this is the API key, the event type ID, as well as the time zone. So in cal.com, after you make an account, you can actually generate an API key, and I'll show you that now. Once you're on cal.com, come down to settings, and then once you're on settings, you want to navigate down to the developer and API keys. And you'll want to generate a new key, all right? After you add the key and copy and save the information for your records, you can come right back over to the voice assistant and import that API key here. For the event type ID, you can find that by going to your events And whatever specific event you're trying to use for that automation, or for that function, I should say, the event ID is in the URL. You'll actually look in the URL after you're on the event ID page or the event page. In the URL, you'll see 6 numbers right after types /. All right. Those 6 numbers immediately after event types /. Those 6 numbers is the event type ID. So you're going to want to copy that and paste that into here. And then lastly, time zone, just select whatever time zone you're in and then go ahead and press save. Again, I'm going to review a custom version of this that we made that actually combines these 2 steps. So stay tuned for that. Book a calendar appointment is the same thing. It's the same information you need, and they pre-populate the description and name. So you can just use that if you like, or you can go ahead and customize it. Moving on, the press digit IVR navigation. This is again just to transfer or press the correct digits to transfer to the correct individual. Press digit, right? And then the description, navigate to a human agent of sales department. And this could be whoever you might be. If you wanted to just navigate to support, you can navigate to support and it'll automatically do that. And then lastly, custom functions. So when it comes to custom functions, you're able to create whatever name necessary for that function. For instance, if it's collecting information or updating a lead in the CRM, it could be update lead status or whatever it might be. And the description of exactly what that function or tool is, the webhook URL to send out that message to have that action take place. And we'll go over that shortly here of how that works. API timeout, just leave that default, and the parameters. So when it comes to functions, some have parameters, and there's a couple examples of parameters here, but I'll actually break down the parameter for the Cal.com appointment booking custom function that we'll review shortly here. So let's go ahead and get right into that. Now, with this function, we did have to create a specific prompt. Now, I'm not going to review the entirety of the prompt, but there are specific parameters that are collected when we are triggering this function call, and I'll review that right after we go over the parameters here. All right, so the name of this function call is book appointment. The description, this tool schedules appointments. For the URL, we actually created an automation in Make, and I'll quickly review that after we review this, but this is where you put that URL from that automation in Make, and I'll show you how to do that. And then finally, the parameters. So when it comes to these parameters, what these is just extracting bits of information we need to carry out booking and scheduling the appointment. So the first bit of information we need is the appointment date time. And we give a description, the caller's preferred date and time for the appointment, in ISO format, American Los Angeles time zone. And we actually give an example of what we want this to actually look like, because that's very important for the post-call automation. Next, we need to collect the appointment reason. And that, again, is just the reason for the appointment, the property address, the caller's street address, first name. The description for that is the first name of the caller, email, the email of the caller. All right, so each of these properties has a property name along with a description. Lastly here, when it comes to requirements, you can actually require certain bits of information to be collected before this triggers. So for this specific custom tool, we do want appointment date collected, email, first name, appointment reason, and property address. So pretty much everything. So continuing on, speak during execution, we'll go ahead and keep that as disabled. And then we do want the speak after execution. And that, again, just unselect if you want to run the function silent. We do want it to actually communicate with the caller when things are occurring. So we'll keep that enabled. Now let's quickly review this prompt and some adjustments that we had to make. So we actually review this prompt in detail in our prompt engineering guide, but we add a couple elements for function calls or for these custom tools that we integrated with this voice agent. So review that video for the other elements that we're not reviewing in this video regarding the prompt. So what we did add to this prompt is the collect caller's appointment availability. Now, when it comes to the availability, you want to remember the things that we're extracting as far as properties in that book appointment custom tool. For one, all the information for the customer collecting in the name, their email, the property address, and the reason for the appointment is collected, and we can confirm that by reviewing the prompt above. But when it gets to the actual appointment availability, this is the nitty gritty. Okay. So when collecting the appointment availability, we need to collect the customer's preferred date, month, and day. So we need to give it direct directions based off of a 12-hour clock for just user experience reasons, or it will say something along the 24-hour clock format. And then from there, always confirm the requested date and time with the customer. This is very important because that is the time that the appointment will be booked. So if they do not confirm that, then everything will go wrong. And as you see here, after collecting the requested appointment date and time, trigger the book appointment function. So it's very important to actually put in the prompt to trigger the function in question along with the appropriate name. Okay, that really helps it just stay on track as far as the logic of what exactly it's supposed to do. After it triggers the function, it's notify the caller if their appointment is booked or other actions need to be taken based on the function response. Now, I'm going to go over exactly all of these things in Make of exactly how the voice assistant will react based off of the response message that it gets from this book appointment function. So let's quickly go over to Make and review that automation. This will be provided again in our Skool community. So click the link in the description to get access to this template. But let's break this down. First step is the webhook. So this is what you need to copy and paste, boom, into the voice assistant when it comes to the actual function. And you paste this, your URL here. So that's where that would go. The first step that occurs is we need to connect with OpenAI because we need to get a start and end time based off of the time that they proposed on the call for the appointment. All right. After we input or convert the requested or preferred time that they received, we get the start and end time for that day. And this all correlates based off of your availabilities in cal.com. Along with this does also correlate with Los Angeles or West Coast time. Keep that in mind. And that's something you will need to adjust if you are using this template based off of your time zone. So keep that in mind. But this step is all about taking the input here, and that's from the function call as things are extracted in the email, first name, property address, appointment reason, and appointment time. These are all the properties that we need extracted on the call in that custom function in Retell. So they're all showing up here. But in this step, we throw in the date to get a start and end date for that day, all correlating to our cal.com availability for this specific meeting. The next step is to actually separate these two start and end dates. Now, we actually could parse these right here in this step if you would like to cut out this stage, and you can just parse JSON, press yes, and that will occur. So you can skip this, but we just did it because we did not do that in that initial step there. So what this step does is it takes the results from here and separates them into a start and end date that we can use independently. Now, this is the actual HTTP step that sends that GET request to cal.com to get their availabilities. So this is really key. The reason why I like this version of a custom tool for booking appointments is because we extract all information necessary and can give them an exact response on alternate dates, book the appointment, and then lastly, if there's no appointments available that day, ask for another preferred date and time. So this just is a faster process to get to the end result of a booked appointment. So the first thing we need to do is see what slots are available for that day that the caller preferred. This is what this HTTP GET request is all about. In this template, all you guys will need to do is input your API key here, and you can find that in cal.com, again, in the same place that I went over earlier. And also your event type ID, okay? Everything else will be filled out based off of the template, and you'll be good to go. So key things to remember: your API key and your event ID. And this will return the available slots for that day. So now that we have the preferred time and date of the appointment, the available slots, now we need to try and match that available slot with any of the available slots that were returned, or I should say that preferred slot the customer requested with any of the slots that were returned. And if they match up, then we know it's available. If they don't match up, then we know it's not available, and alternate tasks need to occur based off of that outcome. So first, what we need to do is format the response that we got back from cal.com in that HTTP request, requesting the available slots for that day. So in this step, the results from this HTTP step are put in context, and then we are formatting this entire returned available slots into a format that is easier to be consumed by this next step to try and match up that preferred date provided by the customer with the available slots for that day. So after it's formatted in this step, and I'm going quickly here, guys, but you can review all of these things in the template that is provided. But one thing to make sure you account for your time zone. All right. Make sure to account for your time zone. But when it comes to matching up the preferred date and time for the appointment with the available slots, that's what this step is all about. We input the preferred appointment date and time requested here in the appointment slots. And if they match, then we're good to go. And the output should be available. And if they don't, and if it does not match, I should say the requested appointment date does not match with one of the available slots, then it will say not available. So based off of the result here, if it says available or not available, available means we're good to go. It's immediately coming up here to book the appointment. In this step, it's all about converting that time back to UTC in the same ISO format. So the preferred time is extracted in that West Coast time zone, but we need to convert it back to UTC. So that's what this step is about. And then the final HTTP step, which actually books the appointment. It's a post HTTP request. And what you guys will need to do to complete this is input your API token here, as well as your event type ID and the time zone of your preference here. After you guys copy and paste that information in, this step will be good to go, and you will be able to book appointments through your cal.com profile all through your voice agent. So this is if it returns available and that slot is available, okay? The response is booked, and your voice assistant will receive that booked response and act accordingly on the call. If it says not available, it'll take this bottom path. And from being not available, this step is all about seeing if there are alternate slots that day. So if there are alternate slots available that day, it will return those slots, okay? And if it doesn't return those slots, it will say, again, not available. So if it does have alternate slots, they will go down this path of alternate slots, and that will send a response back to the voice agent saying, hey, the preferred date wasn't available, but here are those alternate slots, and it'll pick out 3 alternate slots to provide for the voice assistant to give as other availabilities for that day. But if there are no availabilities the date of the preferred request, then it will go down this path and say no appointment times available on this day. Please collect another day and time to schedule an appointment. And this will prompt the voice assistant to ask for another preferred date and time to go ahead and schedule this appointment. So let's give this voice agent a call to test its custom tool in this cal.com appointment booking function, as well as the end call tool.
Hello, thanks for calling Spark Pro Electric. My name is Katie. How can I help you today?
Hey, Katie, I have a light switch out in my hallway. I think I need someone out here to take a look at it.
I can help with that. Could I please have your first name? If you wouldn't mind, could you spell it out for me as well?
Sure. Lenny.
Thank you, Lenny. What's your preferred contact number?
949-610-1111.
Thanks, Lenny. Could I also have your email address, please?
Sure. lenny@6omb.com. And the 6 in that is actually the number 6, followed by the letters omb.com.
Got it, Lenny. Now, could you please provide your address, including the city, state, and zip code?
Sure. 123 North Prospect Avenue. Nevada is the state. Let's go Tustin as the city. And the zip code is 92818.
Thank you, Lenny. Just to confirm, I have your details as follows. Name, Lenny, contact number, 949-610-1111. Email, lenny@6onb.com. Address, 123 North Prospect Avenue, Tustin, Nevada, 92818. Is all of this information correct?
Correct.
Great. Now, could you let me know your preferred date and time for an electrician to come and take a look at the light switch?
Yeah, it would be let's say the 18th at 12 o'clock.
Just to confirm, you would like the appointment on November 18th at 12 p.m. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Your appointment has been successfully booked for November 18th at 12 p.m. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
No, that's it. Thanks.
You're welcome, Lenny. Thank you for choosing Spark Pro Electric. Have a great day.
And there we go. Ended the call perfectly. Now let's go ahead and check if that calendar appointment was booked properly in cal.com. So now that we're on cal.com, let's check if booking appointments. Yep. Monday the 18th at 12 o'clock. Call reason light switch issue in the hallway. Got the correct address here. Everything looks good to go. Well, that's it for today. And if you found this video valuable, please hit that like button. It really helps us reach a wider audience. If you want to see more content on Voice AI, make sure to smash that subscribe button along with that notification bell to never miss another one of our videos. We'll catch you next time. Peace.